Welcome back, my friend, to the Whispers to the Soul. I am glad we can continue our journey together. I am glad I can share something that was whispered to me one foggy morning on my park bench. A whisper, a tale, a hope. And it all concerns a little cloud who lost his way. So, let us begin. The little cloud felt lonely, more lonely than he wanted to admit. Lonely because he had wandered alone for far too long without his family, without any new friends, without even a passing stranger to greet, and with whom he could spark a conversation. Then again, he never liked small talk. Daydreaming and getting lost in his fascination with stars, he excelled at those things. Ever since he could remember, the stars drew his attention away from family discussions and family games. His parents could spend hours reminiscing about things they had seen when they were young. Fireworks that sprayed the sky with tiny colored lights. Metal birds that flew right through them at the speed of a lightning bolt. But he was too busy charting the path to the stars to care. His siblings could spend the whole day transforming into different objects in their game of guess the shape, or spend the whole night daring each other on who could go the highest, but he had no time for such things. His nights stayed concentrated on the millions of tiny white dots that twinkled a majesty and beauty he could never attain. He spent his days wondering what stars said to one another, if they felt pity for those so far below them. He wondered if they traveled in caravans like clouds, or if they stayed in the same place since the beginning of time. Were they soft and creamy like the moon, or spiky and blazing hot like the sun? He wondered if they ever looked down and noticed him gazing up at them. When he asked his parents if a cloud could ever touch a star, he was told stars live in the highest realms, way out of his reach. They were beings shrouded in mystery and should remain as such. He would have been satisfied with this answer if he had not seen a star shooting across the dark sky and hurtling down to earth. He swore by the great sun that it hurtled down to earth. "Looks like someone is letting his imagination run wild again," said his father. "Perhaps it was lightning," said his mother. "Or a man-made object," said his oldest sister. "It couldn't have been any of those things," said the little cloud. "It was too bright and too fast, and it came from the highest realms." "In all my years, I have never seen a star fall to the earth," said his father. "Neither have I," said his mother, "and neither have our ancestors." "Well, I am the first then," said the little cloud. "And if one has fallen, then maybe others have done the same and are living right below us." He scanned every inch of every ocean, of every green valley, of every mountain peak in search of fallen stars. It wasn't until he floated across a human city that he finally knew where they landed. "Aha," he told his siblings. "Now do you believe me?" "You can't say for sure if those are stars," said his oldest brother. "Of course they are stars," said the little cloud. "They glow even brighter than the ones in the night sky." "Ask mother and father, why don't you?" said his sister. "I don't have to ask," said the little cloud. "I have studied stars for so long, I know one when I see one." And more importantly, he did not want to draw his parents' attention. Now that he knew where stars were located, he realized those seemed easier to reach. He spent his days fantasizing about gaining the courage to venture closer to the earth. Just him and no one else. What an awesome feeling it must be to touch an actual star, he thought. He would be the envy of all clouds. One afternoon, when his siblings played Guess the Shape and his parents engaged in small talk with other adult clouds, in his intense desire to touch a star, he wandered away from his family without realizing he had descended beyond the allowed altitude. "Soon I will be in a city of stars, and no one can stop me," said the little cloud. Just then a thunderous voice erupted across the sky. "Hold it right there," said his father. "Don't you dare descend any further," said his mother. He obeyed their orders and waited for them to surround him. "Haven't we already told you about floating out of our boundaries?" said his mother. "Any current can whisk you away," said his father. "Any pressure can weigh you down," said his mother. "You go too high, your heart will freeze," said his father. "You go too low, your heart will evaporate," said his mother. "You are too little to face the pressures and currents on your own," said his father. "You wouldn't be able to find your way back to the ones who love you." "I was never going to go too high or go too low," said the little cloud. "I just wanted a better look." "Sometimes the current takes you where you don't mean to go," said his mother. She brought him close to her soft body. "We are just saying how much you mean to us and how we wouldn't want to lose you. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if we did not get to you in time." His father gently nudged him. "I suppose we'll just have to keep reminding him to stay close." They must have not reminded him enough, because one day he forgot to stick with the caravan. And this time it wasn't about his fascination with stars. This time he saw large spheres invading his space, spheres that transported vibrant colors like red, purple, blue, some with too many colors to count, spheres carrying humans and fire. Most steered away from him and his family, which was too bad, since he wanted to touch one. Some spheres, however, puffed themselves with so much vanity that they sailed right past him and arrogantly looked down upon him. He purposely rose to their height and followed them, proving that he was not one to play with. If a bloated sphere full of hot air showed him no respect, it should be made to ask for forgiveness. "Hey, you," said the little cloud. "Yes, you. You came into my family's space without permission. You elevated yourselves without as much as a pardon me. I demand an apology." The sphere continued to thrust its hot air into the atmosphere, completely ignoring him. In an attempt to show the sphere he was not as little as he looked, he rose above it and expanded his body as far as it could stretch. Perhaps his parents and siblings called out and told him to come along and to stop bothering strangers. Perhaps they shouted that his distance was now unacceptable. Lost in his anger, he did not hear them. And before he knew it, the current had driven him so far from his family, he had no idea where they were, up or down, left or right. For a few moments he could not move. He was afraid to move. What if the current took him further from his family? But he had to do something. For some reason, he traveled south. Unsure about going in that direction, he turned north. This also seemed to be the wrong path. If only he paid more attention to where he was going, instead of being so focused on those blasted spheres. He finally went east. Feeling completely lost, he began to cry tears so small no one on earth noticed them. Spotting a group of clouds in the distance dried up his tears. He was certain this was his family. The enormous and billowy clouds resembled his father and mother. The medium clouds resembled his brothers and sisters. Full of hope, he rode the current toward them. And wouldn't you know it? The day he wanted the current to swoop him away with urgency, the current decided to take its sweet time. "Please hurry," said the little cloud desperately. "I don't want to lose them." The clouds moved farther and farther as he traveled ever so slowly. Once he got close enough to see their identities, a small patch of gray took hold of his body. The clouds were not his mother and father. The clouds were not his brothers and sisters. Where had his family gone? Why didn't the current take him to them? Could he have really gotten so far in such a short amount of time? How he wished his family appeared so his search could end and he could feel secure again. Instead, he floated alone that terrible day and terrible night. And the next days and nights did not get any better. He thought about joining the other caravans that passed him by, but he felt like an intruder. The adults probably wanted someone who could engage in small talk, and the children probably wanted someone good at playing games. He could do neither. Some clouds rose with such majesty and golden hues that he felt like he didn't belong with them. He was just a little lumpy white cloud, without much to offer their families. He thus kept to himself as he drifted through the never-ending blue sky. With every passing day, his body turned slightly grayer, which made him feel even more like an outsider. When he came upon various caravans of clouds, he did not speak to anyone. He weaved in and out of the crowds, desperately calling out for his mother and father and for his brothers and sisters, each time receiving no response. By the 10th caravan, he came to believe they were better off without him. He came to believe they were not even looking for him. In that moment he knew, without a doubt, he was alone. More alone than he wanted to admit. Alone without his family, without their voices, without their laughter, without their stories. How he missed hearing his parents talk about their younger years and all the wonders they had witnessed. How he missed watching his siblings transform into mountains and airplanes and various shapes of the moon. He should have paid attention to his parents' warnings. "You are too young to face the pressures and the currents of this world on your own," they said. "You will never find your way back." This made him all the more sadder, because they were probably right. He would never find his way back to them, and he would never find his way into another family or friendship. Without realizing it, he looked more like his shadow than his true self. When passing a small family of clouds, he swore he heard a mother say to her child, "Stay away from clouds like him. We don't want his darkness rubbing off on you." Well, the mother needn't worry. He had no plans to get close to her child. He had no plans of getting close to any cloud. He knew he no longer belonged in the sky. Thus began his descent, and he soon found himself in a sky with no cloud in sight. As day turned into night, he suddenly remembered the stars in the sky, and how he so dearly wanted to touch one. "Why not live among them?" he told himself. "I already know where to find them. I could find a company of stars and ask to join them." He drifted for hours under the great moon, who reflected half the sun's glory that night. By the time he came upon a human city, the sun had awoken and the stars below had dimmed and disappeared. Where do they go during the day? He wondered for the 100th time. I suppose they sleep and save their energy for the night. Though he did not see any stars that day, he did come across something he had never seen before. Clouds of a brownish hue that seemed to turn browner as the city awoke with its fumes and smoke and smelly emissions. "Ain't you a little too young to be hanging around here?" said a brown cloud. The little cloud coughed as the brown cloud approached him. He managed to reply, "I've come to live among the stars." "Live among the stars?" said the brown cloud. "And where exactly are these stars, if you don't mind me asking?" "Right below us," said the little cloud, barely able to breathe. "I've never seen any stars," said the brown cloud, "and I've been here for months." "Sure you have," said the little cloud. "They sparkle every night. Maybe you didn't know they are stars." "Not sure who stuffed your mind with those crazy ideas," said the brown cloud. "But those ain't stars you're talking about." "I saw them fall to the earth," said the little cloud. "I swear, by the great sun, I saw them." "You have you?" said the brown cloud. "I have seen them twice," said the little cloud, to sound more convincing. "You got it all wrong, kid," said the brown cloud. Those are lights created by humans, not by stars. Just like everything under the sun, humans don't like to live in darkness." "Lights?" said the little cloud. "Not stars. But I swear I saw one fall to earth." "Must have been something else," said the brown cloud. "If a star hit the earth, kaboom, we'd all be gone." "That was my only hope," said the little cloud. "Only hope for what?" asked the brown cloud. "To belong somewhere," said the little cloud. "You're welcome to stay with us," said the brown cloud. "Though to tell you the truth, and don't tell the others, I wouldn't recommend it. When I first arrived, I was so young and bright. Just wanted a taste of the city. But the exhaust and gases tasted too good. Before you knew it, I was hooked. Believe me, I tried to leave on several occasions, but the city kept drawing me back to this life of doing nothing but soaking in its pollution and excess. You should really return to the clean air where I used to belong. You don't want to wind up like me. We aren't even called clouds anymore. We are now smog." "Smog?" said the little cloud. "Something you don't want to be," said the brown cloud as other smog approached. "Here come the others, so get going, kid. I wish you well. And sorry there ain't no stars down below." "No stars?" was all the little cloud could say as he floated away, disappointed. No stars, no family, no hope of finding his family, no hope of finding stars. What was he supposed to do now? Go back to the city and join the smog? Keep searching in vain for a family that was not searching for him? If they were searching, they probably would have found him already. Well out of the city limits, he passed a cloud that was so stretched and wrinkly she could barely keep herself together. "You better not go any lower if you know what's best," said the thin cloud in a hoarse voice. "You are too young to turn into fog and mist." "That's exactly what I want to become," said the little cloud, heaving himself down against the current. "Stop right there, I say," said the thin cloud. "Stop this nonsense at once." He paid her no heed. Down he went. Down, down, down. His heart pounding like the sound of thunder, for at any moment it would evaporate. He said goodbye to the sun and to the sky. He said goodbye to his family and asked for their forgiveness. Crack was the sound he expected, the sound to put an end to his existence. Instead, his heart remained intact and fully functional as he arrived over a long gray line with yellow stripes running down the middle. He followed the gray line over tree-covered hills and into a wide green valley. The gray line curved and finally led him to a tiny wooden house, where vehicles with missing doors and missing tires littered the front yard. He saw two tiny humans jumping on a circle made of bouncy black material. Were they trying to reach the sky? If so, they had a long ways to get there. They stopped bouncing when his dreary dark shadow invaded their light. They pointed their fingers in his direction and called out for "Mama," "Papa." He supposed they would be the only witnesses to his evaporation as he pushed down hard with the intent of passing through the house. The pressure would not allow it. He pressed down again only to be halted again. The pressure and current would only allow him to hover 10 feet above the house, which made no sense. "Why won't this dumb old pressure and this cruel old current let me finish this off?" said the little cloud. No matter how hard he tried to touch the house, the current and pressure prevented his final descent. Before long, another two humans appeared. Mama and Papa, he supposed. The family of 4 gazed up at him for a long time. The mother and father then paced across the yard, sometimes stopping to shake their heads in disapproval. The children returned to jumping on the circle, chanting, "Creepy cloud, go away, creepy cloud, go away." "Oh, so now I'm not wanted here either," said the little cloud, puffing up with anger. "Maybe I'll just linger here to make them suffer." As the darkness intensified on his body, a brown hawk swooshed past him, saying, "Are you a demon cloud?" "A what?" said the little cloud, searching for the origin of the voice. The hawk rushed below him. "A demon cloud. That's what the mother is saying you are." The hawk glided above him. "Says you have come to punish them." "I never intended to punish anyone," said the little cloud, sighting the majestic bird in flight. "I am just an ordinary little cloud. In no way a demon cloud, whatever that is." Swooping past him, the hawk said, "The father thinks the mother is crazy and agrees with you. You are just a cloud." From above, the hawk said, "The children think you're from another world, and deadly green creatures will soon jump out of you." "I have never seen a deadly green creature," said the little cloud. "So why are you here?" said the hawk, circling the little cloud. "Never seen an ordinary little cloud so low. I've seen a funnel cloud, which you obviously are not." "I would rather not say why I am here," said the little cloud. "Are you going to offer rain?" said the hawk. "Dark clouds like you often do." "I have nothing to offer this family, or any family," said the little cloud. "Not even a little lightning bolt or some drizzle," said the hawk. "That might settle the people down, or at least send them inside." "Looks like you have mistaken me for a storm cloud," said the little cloud. "Easy mistake based on the darkness you emit," said the hawk. "If I know anything, I know that humans don't like dark clouds hanging over their lives. I suggest you return to the higher realms with your own family. Believe me, you don't want to draw human attention." "I don't know where my family is," said the little cloud. "If I did, I wouldn't be down here. Please let me be. Let me continue my descent." "Very well," said the hawk, gliding through the little cloud's body. "If I ever find your family in my travels, I will bring them in your direction." "You wouldn't even recognize them," said the little cloud. "They'd probably be the clouds floating lower than the rest," said the hawk. "Look for me on the horizon, my young friend. If we birds don't see the horizon while we are in flight, we get disoriented. Same with clouds, I suppose." And with those words, the hawk flew away. The little cloud's attention returned to the family below. The children were now pointing tiny rectangular devices at him. They climbed on top of rusting vehicles and threw rocks at him, rocks that never touched his body. The mother fell to her knees, clasped her hands, and swayed in the wind. Her actions and those of the children must have not been agreeable to the father. He got in his blue vehicle and sped out of the driveway, leaving a trail of dust and anger. When the mother and the children entered the house, the little cloud attempted another descent, and again he was stopped. Perhaps it was the house that was blocking him. If he moved away, maybe he could finally touch the earth and let its heat evaporate him. He shifted himself to the west, hoping to get past the vehicles, but the current kept him from achieving his goal. He moved to the south, thinking he could surely make it beyond the cornfield. The current again interfered and only let him reach the edge of the lot. "This stupid current," shouted the little cloud. "In the name of the sun and moon, let me pass." Since his birth, he had been taught to respect the great celestial beings, the sun and the moon, to praise them for the gifts of light and life. He could not understand why they didn't order the current to let him pass. The sun and moon see everything. Couldn't they see how he wanted to complete his descent to earth? Couldn't they see his loneliness and pain? And even if they did see, what could they do? Obviously nothing, since they provided no assistance in helping him find his family. They were distant and silent, absolutely no use to him. He turned so dark, He no longer allowed the light of the sun or moon to pass through him. At dawn, he watched the sun rise over the horizon with its glorious rays, blessing families of clouds with a joy and peace that turned them lavender and gold, something he had experienced on many occasions with his family, something he would surely never experience again. Before he could weep, the father returned with a loud crash, knocking over trash cans and metal toolboxes. The father staggered out of the vehicle, pulled out a weapon, and shot 3 bullets in the cloud's direction. "Now the human is trying to harm me," said the little cloud, "and the dumb old sun and moon sit in silence. If they're just going to sit up there doing nothing, then I am correct in thinking they are no use to me. They are no use to anyone. From this day forward, the family below will never see them again." Anywhere the sun moved, he blocked its light from shining onto the mother, father, and children who worked and lived beneath him. From sunrise to sunset, all the humans saw were his large dark body and his intense dark shadow projected onto their home, onto their land, onto their lives. When the moon awoke from her slumber, he did the same thing. Day after day, night after night, the humans saw no light over their home. Bombarded with darkness for 2 weeks must have been too hard for the mother to handle on her own. One day a whole group of people showed up. They carried candles and guitars and Bibles. The mother held up a cone-shaped device that catapulted her voice into the sky. "In the name of Jesus, demon cloud be gone," she shouted, and the people raised their arms and proclaimed, "Amen, Alleluia." "Dear God," she prayed, "you know we are a poor and hard-working family. You know we have no money to pick up and move. You know my husband has made many bad decisions with money and has nearly led us to financial ruin." "Why you have to go and say that for?" could be heard in the cone-shaped device. "Please forgive my husband for his drinking and his foul language," continued the mother. "Nobody has to know our business," said the father. "Lord, you know everything about us," said the mother. "You know I am a humble and generous mother. You know how much I love my family. This is why I wash my children in the blood of Jesus Christ. I wash them clean of their sloth and disobedience." The people praised God and sang lively hymns while the father stormed inside the house, dragging his children behind him. "Have mercy on me, Lord," said the mother once the singing had stopped. "Forgive me for being so lenient on my family and letting them go astray." These words must have been the last straw for the father. He slammed the front door, pushed through the crowd, tossed suitcases and toolboxes onto the bed of his truck, stuffed his children in the front seat, and peeled out. The mother cried out after her family, "Come back and face this demon together." She turned back to the cloud and said, "Please, Lord, the dark demon you have sent is tearing my family apart. Please send it back to the pits of hell where it belongs. Amen. Alleluia." The cloud wished he could send lightning bolts to shut the woman up or turn into a funnel and destroy property and bodies, but that was not who he was. He just wanted to complete his descent and evaporate in peace and quiet. It soon became obvious that the amens and alleluias had no effect on the cloud above. As the sun met the horizon, the people took turns patting the weeping mother's shoulder and dispersed in their own vehicles. She was left alone with her cone-shaped device but had nothing left to say. She walked to the edge of the cornfield, to where the sun's light could be seen, but the cloud followed her and left her in darkness. She flung the device to the ground and ran inside and put on every light in the house. The lights stayed on through the night, and the father and the children did not return. In his relentless desire to block the sun and moon, the little cloud spent the next day and night stretching himself as far as he could. Compared to his mother and father, he was little. But in the eyes of humans, he was rather large and ominous, covering the whole house, the front yard, and most of the cornfield. His siege of darkness made the house look cursed and abandoned. But he knew the mother was still inside. She had not stepped out of the door the whole day and night. This time the light stayed off and the curtains remained closed. He wondered what she did inside the house all these hours. Did she feel as utterly alone and abandoned as he felt? Was she missing her family as much as he missed his? Was she thinking of evaporating and never being seen again? How far did humans have to descend to become fog and mist? And what about the father and the children? Why hadn't they returned? Would they return? 2 days later, a truck that looked like a square box sputtered and bounced as it appeared on the gray road. The little cloud watched it with curiosity. Why would a human need such a vehicle? What did it contain? When it pulled into the front yard, he saw the children hop out on one side and the father step out on the other side in a slow manner, as if he would rather have stayed in the truck. The father carried a square sign attached to a long, sharp pole. He pounded the sign into the ground and wiped his forehead with a towel. "For sale," is what the sign declared. It must have been a sad sign, because the father now wiped his eyes with the towel and quickly walked inside, followed by his son. The daughter remained outside and looked up at the little cloud. The little cloud wondered what she thought of him. Did she fear him? Did she hate him? Did she wish he never existed? He followed her to the shriveled stalks of corn, where she bent over and picked up the cone-shaped device. "God, if you can hear me up there," she said, "could you send some kind of light upon my home?" The father and the son carried out a queen mattress. "Please don't let it be too late," said the daughter. "Amen." The little girl didn't know it, but a direct ray of light descended upon the little cloud once she released her desperate "Amen." However, the little cloud was so dark by now, the ray of light could not penetrate it. "Let me pass," said the ray of light. "Who are you to give me orders?" said the little cloud. "I come upon the little girl's request," said the ray. "Isn't that nice?" said the little cloud. "You show up for the little girl, but not for me." "The sun's light has always surrounded you," said the ray. "Oh, really?" said the little cloud. "I hadn't noticed." "How is it that the sun shines on you all day, and you don't allow any of its light to penetrate you?" said the ray. "I have plenty of good reasons," said the little cloud. "Give me one good reason to prevent me from passing," said the ray. "For starters, where's my family?" said the little cloud. "Day and night I cried out to the sun and moon to return my family to me, and day and night I am left without them. Maybe when the sun returns my family to me, I will let you pass." "The great sun does not want to see you dark and lonely," said the ray. "A dark cloud, whether it is dark because of anger or pain or sadness, that doesn't give the life-giving gift of rain, only brings fear and gloom to others. I assure you, if you let me pass, not only will you be transformed, but also the family below." "Lies," said the little cloud. "Lies just to get me to move. Once I do, the family will have plenty of reasons to celebrate, and I will have none. I'll still be up here alone. If the sun really wants to help me, ask him to evaporate me. You will one day be blessed with a descent to earth, where the heat of his love will turn you into mist, and you will become part of the everlasting sky," said the ray. "But now is not that time. You still have much life to live. So let me pass. Let me repair what the darkness has damaged." "It looks like your only concern is the family below," said the little cloud. "But nobody cares about me?" "There you are wrong, little cloud," said the ray. "The sun has sent me for you, to let you know you are loved, and you are cared for. In fact, your family misses you and has been searching for you, but they will never find you if you are way down here." "Is this true?" said the little cloud, with a sudden surge of hope. Overwhelmed by the ray's intense heat, the little cloud trembled. His heartbeats turned into thunder, his cries into lightning. At any moment he was going to evaporate. He just knew it. But why now when his family was looking for him? He didn't want to die anymore. He wanted to live. He wanted to see them again. The heat was unbearable. How much more could he endure? Just when he thought his heart was going to burst and disappear, it suddenly became full of light, full of love, full of a light and love he could not keep to himself, full of a light and love that belonged in the world. The ray of light gushed out of a small opening in his body, and the little cloud did nothing to prevent its passage. The father and son, who were now struggling with a sofa, and the daughter, who was carrying a lamp, stopped in their tracks. They each had to use a forearm to shield them from the brightness of the light. They put down what they were holding and used both arms to get a better look. "Mama!" shouted the daughter. "Mama, come out here right now." "I want to stay in my home a little longer," said the mother. "Listen to your daughter," said the father. "This better be good, because I still got lots of cleaning to do," said the mother, as she walked out the front door. "I don't have time to—" She placed her palm over her mouth and shook her head. She rushed out into the front yard and circled the ray of light. She wept and remained speechless. "Say something, Mama," said the son. The mother pulled her children to her bosom and said, "A light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." The mother pulled the father into the family embrace as the little cloud blessed them with more rays of light. The father and mother kissed each other and then kissed their children. The daughter ran to the "for sale" sign and kicked it, but it was pounded deep into the ground and she could not knock it over. The son rushed to her aid, and both took turns kicking the sign and yanking it until it lay flat. They both stomped on it and tore it apart until there was nothing left of the words. What was left? Family. Home. Light, love, and the brightest cloud they had ever seen. The little cloud shook off the last remnants of darkness, and before he knew it, the wind carried him away, higher and higher above the family he had tormented for so many days. He wished he could have offered them more than light. He wished he could have apologized for his actions. All he could do was float away in silence. Old and wrinkly clouds all saw him ascend and said, "Must be a newborn. He looks so radiant and pure." "Just as I thought," said the ray of light. "When you allow the sun's light to pass through your sadness and anger, all those around you pay attention. They also share in your joy and find hope in continuing their journey, even in the most difficult times of their lives." "I am sincerely happy for the family below," said the little cloud. "But as you can see, I still do not have mine, and have no idea where to find them, and they probably have no idea where to find me. The only way to find them is to let the wind and the precious take you where you need to go," said the ray, "and may they always lead you to the ones who love you." With those words, the ray vanished into the thin air, and the little cloud allowed himself to be transported by the wind and the pressure surrounding him. He remembered what the hawk said, "Look to the horizon." And that is what he did. He looked to the horizon until the sun set. He looked to the horizon when the moon was at its brightest. He looked when the sun rose. He looked as the sun set again. He looked over green horizons, over desert horizons, over watery horizons. He looked and looked until he got tired of looking. "I knew it was all a lie," said the little cloud. "There is no family looking for me, and if the ray lied about that, then he lied about me being loved and cared for." A patch of gray appeared on his body. It's no use to keep searching. His search turned into an aimless drift across a vast and cloudless sky. He became a little darker each day, and sunk a little lower each day. He got so low, he suddenly felt a familiar swoosh against his body. Caught off guard, he wondered if he had imagined it. But then the swoosh brushed against him again. "Do you remember me, my young friend?" said the hawk. "Of course I do," said the little cloud. "Have you come to taunt me?" "Taunt you? Whatever for?" said the hawk, flying below him. "You obviously don't have my family with you," said the little cloud. "I have something just as good," said the hawk. "I know where they are." The little cloud shed his darkness and rose in excitement. "But you have to move fast," said the hawk. "Storm clouds are approaching. My senses say violent ones. Go east, my friend, go now." The little cloud allowed a part of his body to cling to the hawk. "I wish I could offer you something in return." "Letting me help you is gift enough for me," said the hawk, and flew away. The little cloud let the current carry him east. From a distance he could see a group of dreary gray clouds. The large clouds had to be his mother and father. The medium ones had to be his brothers and sisters. There was no denying it this time. It was them. He knew it in his heart. The force of the wind suddenly picked up, and massive black clouds rushed into the path leading to his family. The dark clouds shouted out their thunderous rage and flashed their menacing power. On any other occasion, the little cloud would have steered clear of them. But he couldn't risk losing his family again. He just couldn't bear that pain again. This time nothing was going to separate them. Not strong gusts of wind, not heavy rain, not lightning, not thunder, not fear. "Good sun," he cried out. "Tender ray of light, powerful wind, be my strength this day, and get me to the ones I love." He valiantly rushed into the black storm clouds, where he was immediately tossed and turned, pushed and choked. The wind took hold of him and propelled him through heavy rains and opposing forces. He tried dodging lightning bolts and got singed by one. He fought hard to get through, harder than he had ever fought before. When he felt like he was not going to make it, when he felt like he would lose his family forever, his parents somehow grabbed him and sealed him in a bond of love, a bond that no storm could ever tear apart. His brothers and sisters then pulled them out of the darkness and chaos and into a blue and peaceful sky. "We have searched so long and so hard for you," said his mother. "Thanks to a kind bird and to our great sun, we have finally found you. Please don't ever go far from us again," said his father. "Even if I do go astray," said the little cloud, "I now know how to find my way back to the ones I love and to the ones who love me. And that's the most important lesson of all," said his mother. The little cloud found himself in a tight family embrace, an embrace that was filled with so much joy and so much love, that a mighty arch stretched from one end of the earth to the other, emitting the brightest colors the world had ever seen. Their joyful embrace lasted well unto sunset, where the little cloud and his family turned a majestic lavender and gold. Humans below stopped their vehicles and took photos, some even commenting, "This is the most beautiful sunset I have ever seen." This was the greatest moment in the little cloud's life. He carried this memory into old age. He brought it down to earth one blessed morning. Indeed, it was this memory of love, mixed with the intense love of the sun, that turned him into mist and allowed him to become part of the everlasting sky. Other clouds tell the little cloud story to those who find themselves lost and alone. It was whispered into the ears of a writer one foggy morning. Sometimes, when you pay close attention to your surroundings, my friend, stories make themselves present. So it is with great joy and honor that this writer shares the little cloud story with you, dear friend, hoping that it will help you find your way back to the ones you love and to the ones who love you. If a tale speaks to you from this channel, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's walk this road together, my friend, one whisper at a time.